from a bygone day. Gather round, oh come and see. The warmth of the fire calls you and me.
Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. I've got a lot to show you on this camp. I've got a Polish Lavvu mod that I designed. I designed it years ago and I used it on Arctic expeditions. I've not used it for a while, but winter's approaching and I know some of you want to get into hot tenting, or I can share some tips with you, what I've learned over the years about hot tenting and stuff. So we'll be setting up the Lavvu very shortly and we'll be spending one night in it. I've also brought with me a chuck box or a wanagon. Now basically it's a box that I take with me on my canoe trips and it has all my bits and pieces in. And it's just something that you can put together from stuff that you've got lying around. You can get old-fashioned gear, use that if you want to do that. So I'm going to start off by showing you what's in this box. And it's a small enough box that you can carry it with you if you're doing a couple of miles or something like that. But it's mainly for canoeing, if you know what I mean, or car camping. Let's see what's inside it. So I've used this old belt to hold the lid on. It just basically goes through these handles here, these carry handles, and it's something I can just grab, you know, and it stops the lid from falling off. Now this particular box I bought from a place called Home Base, but it's just a storage box. You could get hold of something like this off Amazon if you wanted to, and just adapt it to how you want it to be. I've put a little bit of artwork on this. I've burnt in a raven there off a Viking coin, or a Viking raven banner if you like. And on the underside of a lid, I've burnt in a Naffataffel board. A Naffataffel board's basically a Viking game. It's a bit like chess, but it's not, if you know what I mean. You play it in a different way. But it's just something to pass the time on camps, you know what I mean. So another thing I did is I made this tray section here, so I've got a bit of a tray to put my bits and pieces in if I want to. So what I've got in this top section here, I've got a bamboo cylinder that again I got off Amazon, and in it I have waterproof matches. It's just a nice dry place to keep your matches. I have got regular matches in here as well, but these cylinders are great if you want to make a survival kit, or you could even make a hobo fishing kit out of one of these. It's something I've been thinking about doing. I do have hobo fishing kits, but I'm thinking this would be ideal, you know, for a hand line for fishing, and you could keep all your hooks and fishing tackle in there. So that's just an idea for you, if you know what I mean. Now this is an old little cake kind of slice for lifting up cakes, but I use it as a spatula. The good thing is about old-fashioned kit, it's more interesting than new stuff. And it's just making use out of old things, really, isn't it? But yeah, I've got a variety of different things there. I have a modern kind of titanium spoon as well. Now, this is something I picked up from an antique shop a couple of weeks ago. I'll show you that later on. I'll show you what's inside it. Okay. So in here I have two plates. Got a bowl style plate, and the bowl style plates are far better than just normal plates because obviously it's a bowl as well as a plate. You could probably use that for frying if you wanted to, as well as a bit of a frying pan. Now I have made some of these that have screw-on legs on the bottom of them, that you can take the legs out of the box itself, screw the legs on, and it raises it up to about this height. And what you have then is a table. It's just so convenient having a table on camp. So for this particular camp, I've arranged it just for stuff what I need on this camp, but depending on what I'm doing, I interchange it with different equipment and stuff. So in here, I've got a mouth organ, I've got a horn, a harmonica, for a little bit of entertainment. I can't play it very well, but I do like playing that on occasion. So I've got all sorts in here. I've got some pack wax. Now, pack wax is something that my mate's developed, Matthew from Birchwood Bushcraft. It's not on the market yet, but it will be at some point, and it's very handy pack wax for all sorts of stuff. Chap lips, fixing zips, making zips lubricant and stuff like that. Right, I better get going on with this because I've got a lot of stuff in here to show you. So in here I've got a hip flask. Now in this hip flask I have some rum that I can have with my coffee if I want to at night time. It comes with 4 little glasses there that are handy to have toasts with your friends and stuff, you know. And I've also got the pieces for my Naffetaffel set. We'll look at those later on. Now, I make various leather containers for some of my equipment. This is basically a Yukil candle lantern for lighting. And lighting I find very important in winter time. You know, it gives you a bit of cheer. But what I've done with this Yukil candle lantern is I've made a leather sleeve for it as well. And the reason I've made that is, in Arctic conditions, your hands can stick to metal, obviously, because it's cold. So I put this leather sleeve on so that I don't get my hands stuck to it, if you know what I mean. I'll just get that out of the way and show you what else is in here, because I've got quite a lot in. It was quite fun packing this box, to be honest. So tins are very handy, aren't they, to keep all your equipment in. In here I've got a brew kit. I have my tea, coffee, sugars, things like that. Spare waterproof matches again. But yeah, that's just handy. That's just my brew kit stuff in there. And it just slots in quite nicely. Just use some old rubber bands to stop the lid from opening. Just put that out of the way. This is a little tin that my friend Matthew gave me. It was his grandma's. His grandma passed away. But I'm thinking little tins like this, little containers, they're so much more fun and they're nice things to look at, aren't they, really? I haven't got anything in this at the moment. I'm not sure what I'm going to keep in it yet. I might keep some pack wax in it. So in here, I've got another tin that my friend Dave gave me. And it's got some spare tobacco in it. I shouldn't smoke, it's bad for me, but I always run out of tobacco on camps, so I've got some spare tobacco there. But you can have a tin with sweets in or whatever you want, whatever tickles your fancy, really. So I've got another leather container here that I've done with another small lantern. These lanterns you can get from Amazon or AliExpress or Alibaba. And they're not expensive at all. And these are great because you can actually fit your spare tea candles inside them. So I've got 3 tea candles in there. It's always best to get the tea candles that last a few hours rather than the cheap ones. You know, these are like long-lasting tea candles. And that would burn through the night, lighting up my camp. But yeah, that's just, it's a cheaper alternative than the Yukil candle lantern, really. So I have my brass lantern there. I have my tripod kind of connector, which you saw in my previous video. These have gone up in price now, unfortunately. It was under £3 when I first did the video, but I think they've gone up in price, somebody was saying. This is a German army, old German army, butter dish. So in here I have my butter, and it just keeps it nice and clean, keeps it cool, and it you know, it's just a nice thing to have. You can pick those up if you shop around. This is a cowl for my Yukil candle lantern. It goes on the top and it reflects the heat down. I just made a leather case for it. All these little bits and pieces that I've been making for my equipment. Later on in winter when I'm stuck in the house, I want to do some videos on making all these just to show you how to do it if you don't know. So we can get making a lot of stuff later on in the year. So in here, I've got my Viking cooking pot, which is my favourite cooking pot, actually. It's just so amazingly put together. It's all riveted. So that's what I got for boiling water with me. I've also got my Russian canteen that you've seen. And in here I have a set of cups. So these are titanium cups. But I'm using these because they fitted in the box much easier than the other equipment. So one fits inside the other. They both come with lids. You can use them as billy cans if you like. Now in here, this is a nice little birch box here that somebody's made. In here I have a little folding cup, and it just basically comes out like that, and you have a little handle. So it's a little stirrup cup, that, which I think is really nice. And it's just, these things that collapse down are great for boxes, aren't they? This is a little copper tin, and it was for makeup. And it was enamelled green on the top, and I sanded off the enamel, and basically I use it for a fire lighting kit. And I've got all sorts in there: old man's beard lichen, birch bark. I have a pencil sharpener for, you know, twigs to make tinder for lighting fires. It's just a lovely thing that I'll get the camera in close to show you that quickly. Or better still, to save time, I'll move up to the camera. So this is it. I put an old Victorian penny on the top of it, just to make it a bit more interesting, really. But yeah, like I say, you've got this little dish in here. I did have a magnifying glass that went in that. And I had this little leather kind of protector for the magnifying glass. But yeah, I have my pencil sharpener in there. If I want, I can just get a twig off the floor and just basically shave it down like that to create tinder, you know. But because I've got so much to show you, I don't want to go on too much about one particular thing. I've still got the Lavvu tent to show you, and I've got some other things that you're going to be very interested in. So in here I have a folding Stonebridge lantern with spare Yuko candles. You see that later on, you've probably seen it before. They're very nice. And in here I have a big tin, and now in this tin I've got my food. I've got some cheese and I've got some bread and I've got some pancakes. And the reason I brought this type of food on this camp is, what I've done is brought my pie irons. So I brought a pie iron that I've had for a while, which I'll show you now actually. So this is my pie iron, and pie irons are absolutely fantastic. I mean, you can make some delicious food with these. But this particular one is quite expensive to buy, but it's a good thick cast iron, so it does work really well. But what I've done this week is I've purchased the cheapest pie iron on Amazon. And the reason I've done that is I wanted another one, because it takes a while cooking for the kids if I'm just using one, doesn't it? But the reason I bought it is it was something that I wanted to see if it was any good or not for you guys. I think it's about £20-ish, and I used it last night on my log stove in my bar, and we was doing cheese toasties, and it worked really well. And it can be a frying pan as well. I've got to go and get that from the car, but we'll be cooking with these later. I've got a few little things to show you with that. Right, I better get this camp set up because I want to show you how it looks and how well these things work on the camp, you know. Now, this particular Lavvu that I've got here, it was a design I came up with many years ago from a Polish Lavvu. I used to camp with two Polish Lavvu halves, and I used to put a tarp between the two. And it was after a long time when I thought, I'll put some canvas in between and make it so that it lifts up. So I had a friend who was a tent maker who was at that camp, and I asked him if he could do it for me, and I did him a bit of a drawing, and he did it. He made me a Lavvu tent, and since then the Lavvu tents have really caught on. Some of my friends made some after seeing my tent. They said, yeah, they work, let's use them. So we got the old hand crank singer sewing machines out and did some mods to these Lavvus. But yeah, there's companies now that are making these tents and selling them. Bushcraft Spain, I think, make them now. And you can get synthetic versions that have popped up. I mean, yeah, I kind of come up with the idea, I thought, from the Polish Lavvu, but it's an old idea. The Anglo-Saxons had a very similar tent. Nothing's new in the world. Everything's been done before. Anyway, let's get this camp set up. Now, I wanted this shelter to be a bit more neater than this, but because the trees are so close, I'm a bit limited to how I can pitch it. I don't want to move it anywhere else because I want to camp near my fire pit. So it's a little bit unneat, but it doesn't matter. It's still going to do the same job. My suggestion is, if you're using canvas tents in snowy conditions or even in wet conditions, put a synthetic tarp over the top of them. It will shed the snow. the log stove that you're going to be using is going to be melting snow that touches your canvas. So if you've got a gap between the canvas and the actual fly sheet itself, it's going to create a warm pocket and the snow's not going to melt into your canvas. And that can be a big problem if you're packing away your tents on your last day of your expedition, say. You're going to struggle to pack them. So always put a synthetic tarp over the top of a canvas tent if you can help it in wet conditions. So the way I've had this designed is, this tent, I've had Dutch lacing on this side because Dutch lacing is something that's not going to break in cold conditions. On the other side I've got zips, so it's more convenient. I had a stove jack fitted here, which I fitted from a silicone baking tray, but I've filled in the hole there now and I've moved the stove jack to the centre of the lift up part of the Lavvu now. And I've also put some silver foil on the inside. I'll show you that. So I've not finished this. This is something that I've been modifying over time. But yeah, I've put some silver foil on it so it reflects the heat of a log stove back into the tent. Also gives you more light. And that's why the centre panel of this is white as well, because it creates light inside the shelter. Olive green drab canvas doesn't give off a lot of light. So now I've created a porch, haven't I, at the front here. I can have a fire underneath there tonight. It's going to rain later. The heat's going to go into that shelter and it's going to be really warm. Now I can fit a log stove to it if I want. I don't really want to do that this camp. I'll do it on a future camp, show you my folding log stove and also some ammo can stoves that I've made that you can also make if you fancy doing that as a project. So I'm going to sleep in this end here, in this canvas green bit here. I'm going to put my swag in there. And I'm going to use that as my sleeping chamber. And on this section, I'm going to use it as a kit store. I'm going to put my rucksack in and stuff like that. And I've got a new chair to show you now. I've actually got here a section for a pole to go through if I want as well. You can use these with poles. I prefer just using lines because you don't need to carry poles then. There's always trees to tie them to. But from here, I've made some gear loops, so I can hang spoons, you know, firelighting kit. I can dry out kit. I can dry out gloves. I can, you know, it's just basically handy to have drying racks. But these Dutch laces here as well that dangle down, you can also use to hang light gear. So anyway, I purchased this one Tigress chair. And the reason I bought this chair is I'm getting older. I've got a good nature hike chair that I use, but it's getting a bit older now, and I just fancied it. I just treated myself. I don't often buy myself new kit, but when I do buy new kit, I tend to get the best if I can. So this chair is really comfortable. Now my friend Matthew turned up with one of these, and I sat on it, and I thought, yeah, that's a game changer. Real comfortable chair. But what I like about it is the amount of storage you can put in that. This attaches to the chair and you can keep all your stuff in there when you sat around the campfire. You can even, you know, use it as a camp kitchen if you like. But with this particular chair, you've got the option of having it sat directly on the floor rather than having legs on it. So if you was in a low down shelter, say, you could actually sit tighter to the floor. I think there's enough room in this to use the legs actually. But yeah, I can actually just use it like that. And it's just a little bit, you know, a bit lower down. But I'm going to put the legs up on it anyway and show you that. I wouldn't recommend these chairs if you was into ultra lightweight camping. They're just going to be too bulky and too heavy and take up too much room in your pack. But for canoe camping, car camping, or if you're just doing a few miles and you don't mind carrying a bit of weight, they're worth getting. But there is a cheaper solution now. So do you remember the nature hike chair that I normally use? Well, Dave, being the king of Team U and all these cheap sites, he's actually found a chair that's exactly the same as the nature hike chair. We've looked at it, we've compared the stitching, we think it's made in the same factory, £14. So Yeah, go on AliExpress or, you know, Temu or somewhere like that. Type in camping chairs and look for something that looks a bit like the Nature Hike chair, and you get yourself one for £14. Sorry, Nature Hike, but you know, I don't get sponsored by anyone or anything like that, so I've got no loyalty to a brand. I'm not loyal to anyone but my audience, to be honest, and I just want to make sure that you get decent kit, you know, that's affordable. If something's good on the market, I like to share it with you. If something's rubbish on the market as well, I will tell you, because not everybody's made of money, especially me. I don't like wasting money. Well, this is a really comfortable chair. Let's see how it feels. Oh, there we go, that's better. Now that, it's got a little pillow on the back there, it's luxury. So it can be raining now, and I can sit in here at the back, all my supplies on this side, the sleeping equipment there, fire in front of me, doing cooking, completely watertight. Now another mod you can do on these tents is you can make a triangle section to fill in the two sides. I have done it, but I've lost the triangle pieces. I know other people have done it, but it just keeps the side winds out. It's just something else you can do. And if you had two of these, you can join them facing each other. We had four of these in a circle around the fire, and in the morning everyone was sat underneath the shelters in the snow. We could see the main fire and we could all talk to each other. It was a real good camp, that. But yeah, they're difficult to get hold of, these Polish Lavvus now. But like I say, there's other tents on the market. Since these mods have been done, you can pick up tents that are very similar at a reasonable price. If you're looking for a good hot tent, one Tigris do a canvas Lavu style tent. I think it's called a Night Gaze. A couple of my friends have got them. They work really well for Arctic conditions. Will work really well for cold weather in Scotland, places like that. So check those out if you're interested in buying something. You know, at the end of the day, you can always get a canvas tarp and put a stove jack in it yourself. Or get the One Tigris Proteus tarp, which is a synthetic tarp. I put a stove jack in that, and you can turn that into a hot tent. But you can see that on some of my past videos if you like. Anyway, press subscribe if you've not already subscribed to my channel, because I've got loads of information to share with you. I've got loads of videos coming. I've got 100 and odd videos out already you can watch. And I like different approaches to bushcraft. It's not always the same. It's different approaches. Sometimes it might be lightweight. Sometimes it might be like this, where you're just in complete luxury. Anyway, let's get on with it. So we're in complete luxury now, aren't we? It's almost like glamping. We're bushcraft camping, but we're glamping really, aren't we? We've got a lot of luxuries here. I'm going to make a cup of tea now, but I'm going to use this. This is an old hexamine stove. You can't really get these anymore because the fumes off them are quite poisonous, but as long as it's ventilated, I mean, I've been using these for years and never had a problem with it. You just got to be careful with the fumes, if you know what I mean. Ventilation must at all times be given when burning tablets. So the box it comes in is waxed, so it's watertight, you know. You can still pick these up from good army stores. But there's the tablet itself. Anyway, let's get the kettle on. So I'm gonna get this drink down me, and I'm gonna go back to the car. I've got a fire pit I want to bring down because I don't want to keep scarring the ground. I've already got one fireplace there, but I want a fire a little bit closer to me tonight, underneath this shelter. So rather than scarring the ground, I'll go and grab my fire pit. And also, some of the songs you've been listening to lately are a little bit dark, aren't they? So I've made one that's a bit more cheerful and a bit more fun. You can listen to that now and you can see what's happening. I'll get the pie irons on the go and we'll do a bit more stuff later on. But just enjoy this new song.
Canvas tents and bedrolls lay, boxes full of gear from a bygone day. Gather round, oh come and see, the warmth of the fire calls you and me. The cold night's air fills our lungs, it's true, but we like how it feels when the world's anew. Away from the concert boxes where the skyline bends, we'll find our music where the woodland mends. So let's sing songs under starlit skies, with wool coats and jumpers as the evening sighs. Leather high leg boots dancing on the ground, with homemade wooden flutes, let the soft notes sound. Old school bush gear arranged with care, in wooden boxes, memories we share. Wax canvas backpacks, adventure on the way. Thick woolen socks keep the chill at bay. Tilly hats pulled low, neckerchiefs tied snug. Buffalo play coats that our fathers once dug. Smoke from the fire warms our hearts and our dreams as sparks rise high, weaving tales and gleams. So let's sing songs under starlit skies, with wool coats and jumpers as the evening sighs. Leather high leg boots dancing on the ground, with homemade wooden flutes, let the soft notes sound. Billy cans brewing the warmth of our swags, antique sheath knives and old leather bags. Our clothing blends with the woodlands around, where fiddles play softly a magical sound. Camping beneath the bright universe wide until the break of day, with the moon as our guide. Down deep pathways, that's where we stay, away from the tide, safe in our play. In this woodland haven our spirits take flight. Remember the old ways, cherish the night, a place where the truth and the past intertwine, with stories of old that forever will shine. So let's sing songs under starlit skies, with wool coats and jumpers as the evening sighs. Leather high leg boots dancing on the ground, with homemade wooden flutes, let the soft notes sound. Gather round the fire, let the laughter ignite. In the heart of the woods we'll find pure delight, with canvas tents and love in the air. We'll dance through the evening without a single care. From the old ways we come with joy and with cheer. In this timeless moment, let's gather right here.
bit more cheerful, that song, wasn't it? Yeah, I enjoyed that. Right, I'll just quickly show you this pie iron that I got from Amazon. It's the cheapest one I can find at the moment. Now basically, you just butter your bread on the outside and you put it in here. You can put cheese in them, bacon, whatever you want. Cooked meat, obviously, if you're putting it in bread, but you can actually use these like a frying pan. This particular one comes with 2 sets of handles. It has a shorter set here, but it has a longer set that I've left at home. Didn't want to bring that. But we just screw in the end here like that. This pin locks it together. So I'm going to get making something to eat now. I think I'm going to go for some just cheese toasties, or I might have an Eccles cake. I've got another pie iron here, which I shown you earlier. The Eccles cakes would fit in that perfectly, actually. So I'll do my Eccles cake in that one. And I'll do my cheese toasty in that one to show you how it works. I've got some honey butter as well for tomorrow morning with my pancakes. Right, let's get cooking some of these up. They're really nice. The reason you butter your bread on the outside is so it doesn't stick to your pie iron. Now, of course, you can add onion to this. You can have cheese and onion if you want, or anything you want. Just do it however you like to do things. Give that about 4 minutes each side, depending on how hot it gets. I mean, it might be 2 minutes, depending on, you know, how hot your fire is. Last night it took me 10 minutes aside because I was on a log stove and it wasn't very hot, the log stove. So there you have a lovely cheese toasty. A bit of a cheese has come out of the side there, so you have to be careful of that. You don't really get that problem with the other shaped pie irons because it's so tight. But that's a lovely cheese toasty there. I'm going to let that cool off, and then I'm going to eat that one. I'll leave a lid on it for now, and I'll get an Eccles cake for pudding on the go, and we'll see how that turns out, eh? If you've not had an Eccles cake before, they're an acquired taste. I really like them. They're full of raisins inside, and they're a good energy food, if you know what I mean. So I'm just going to butter the outside of this, just to stop it from sticking to the pan, to the pie iron. Just like that, I think. And I'll spread that over with my knife. Just a little bit, just so it doesn't stick. And I think I'll drizzle some honey on that later. Now I bet this will taste delicious. Oh, it's sizzling away, that is. That looks quite well, actually. Put that to the side. Just going to drizzle a little bit of honey on it there. And that can be my pudding. Now, my friend Niall is coming camping this evening. He's coming down about 3 o'clock, so he spent time with his family today. My family's at the hospital visiting my mother-in-law. She's making progress, but she's still in hospital. So they're spending the day there, and they're going to spend the evening with Hannah's stepfather, so that they keep him company basically, because he's staying on his own a lot. That's so good. I'll put a link in the description for this cheap pie iron that I found. Like I say, I think you can use it for a frying pan. You can split them in two, in half. Like that. And then you've got a frying pan there. 2 frying pans. You know, you can do bacon and eggs if you want. This one's quite lightweight compared to my other one. Right, I'm just going to finish this food. Pretty hungry. Right, time for the Eccles cake. It tastes so much better that it's been heated up. It's like all the flavours have all melted together. And the honey, oh, with the butter. Try these with honey butter, hot. You're going to love them. And they're not too expensive. I tried getting my youngest son coming camping with me this weekend, but he wanted to see his nana. And I think he likes staying at his granddad's house. It's a shame, really, because he would have loved this camp. So when you're watching this, George, you missed out on your Eccles cakes. But don't worry, I'll bring some home with me and you can have some on Sunday. I'm going to have another one. They're just too tasty. It's a bit smoky, that fire now. So these pie irons here, I mean, you can use them at home. You can put them on your gas hob at home and use them that way. You can even put them on your electric hob if that's all you've got. Put them on top of your log stove. Yeah, that is lightweight enough that I think I could take it on a trip. Say I went on an expedition somewhere, I could buy a loaf of bread and a block of cheese and I can have cheese toasties all day long, couldn't I? Yeah, I wouldn't like to take the other pie iron because it's just a little bit heavy, you know, but it works better, the other one, because it's cast and the pies are better in it. But for the money, I would go for this. A clever idea would be to already have a sandwich in this ready to go. And then when you get to camp, all you've got to do is put it on the fire and open it up and it's ready. There's no buttering of bread on camp or anything like that, is there? I cannot play this mouth organ, but I'm going to play it anyway. My mate on camp years ago said if I play this mouth organ again near him, he's going to take it off me and throw it in the river. So, yeah, I do annoy people with this. But it's good fun. If you have to get in a mouth organ for playing around camp, get it in G-tone. It sounds better. It's like a bluesy type of sound, you know. You know, it's got a nice dull, low pitch to it. I nearly forgot to show you this little kit that I picked up from a little antique store. I really like these old-fashioned things. The ingenious. It's actually a nail kit, but the idea is you can screw each section of it to this cylinder, and this becomes your handle basically. And you've got yourself a little set of scissors there. Really, really good, well put together piece of equipment, this. And you've got various other tools, files and stuff. A little knife. But I'm going to sharpen this little blade up anyway and use it as a spare blade. But yeah, always keep your eye out. You know, when you're out and about, car boot sales, these little things, you know, they're collector's items now. But I just like having them around. It's something maybe that I'll hang off a pocket watch chain, you know. Get a little attachment in there and I can hang it off a pocket watch chain maybe. But I just wanted to share that with you. Right, keep watching this video. I'm going to say goodbye now, but keep watching because I'm going to film this evening. I'm going to have all the lamps lit and everything, and I've got a friend coming, and I think more friends are coming. So stick around for that and gather around the fire with us and see what's happening tonight. I might even get some filming done tomorrow morning, who knows? So I'm going to say goodbye now, and I just want to say thank you again for all your support, and keep watching, it helps me out. And as long as you're watching, I'll keep making videos for you. I've got so much to show you. You know, I've got 100 and odd videos out at the moment. I'm just going to keep growing the channel as best I can. Anyway, I'll stop going on. Just enjoy yourself now, and I'll see you soon.
When he was so young, he had a heart that truly sung, for he knew the ways of the woodlands where he first begun. Every path, every twist in the undergrowth he'd roam. With every step he took, the forest felt like home. His heart yearned for nature, the whispers of the trees, the rustling of the leaves, and the humming of the bees. Oh, the journey from boy to man has shaped my understanding true. In this existence we can connect with nature, wild and new, through the deep woodlands where we are ever free. In this bond with the young and the trees, we find our harmony. I see the smoky fire blowing through the green leaves, a gathering of spirits where the heartache grieves. We share our teachings like tales from days of yore, the wisdom from ancestors, whispers of folklore. He witnessed the power, the magic that life brings among the ancient stones and the songs the forest sings. Oh, the journey from boy to man has shaped my understanding true. In this existence we can connect with nature, wild and new, through the deep woodlands where we are ever free. In this bond with the young and the trees, we find our harmony. Nurturing covers us in this woodland deep and wide, twisting pathways winding with the universe as our guide. The light from the fire leads us gently on our way, orchestrating tales in the embers' warm display. The sparks climb high, reaching up to the stars. In the heart of the woodland there are no more scars. We ponder our questions, seek answers in the night, for the woodland's embrace cradles us tight. Here we blossom like flowers in the glade, with every step forward the memories are made. has shaped my understanding true. In this existence we can connect with nature,